Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the Toba Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Dumelang Absheni, Ralocha, Sanvanani, Mulweni. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Today we dive into a topic that has actually resonated deeply across the continent, and that is the recent announcement by the United States regarding the potential expansion of the United Nations Security Council, specifically the proposed addition of 2 permanent seats for African nations, but of course without the accompanying veto power. Now, let's break down this situation, right? So the US has actually positioned itself as a supporter of African representation at the UN, which on the surface sounds promising. However, the red flag is that these seats would not come with veto power, which has actually sparked outrage among many Africans, including the former UN ambassador, Dr. Africana Ko, who actually argues that this proposal is, and I quote, an insult to 1.4 billion Africans. And if we're being honest, I couldn't agree more. Let's have a look.
If Africa is going to become a member of the UN Security Council, a permanent member, they must have the full rights, just like the other 5 members, which means they must have veto power. Inviting Africa to the table and then asking them to remain mute, it's an insult not only to the African leaders, but it is an insult to 1.4 billion people. We appreciate what Ambassador Greenfield is saying. We appreciate the efforts she has made. But if she is going to complete this journey that has been going on for far too long, a journey that clearly exemplifies the continued disrespect of the African continent, Ambassador Greenfield must push for us to take this issue to the finish line. Africa must have 2 permanent seats at the UN Security Council with full veto power. Nothing less is acceptable. And I do believe that the United Nations, understanding how long this issue has been going on, how long the disrespect of the African continent has been going on, it is shameful that United Nations would want to continue to blatantly disrespect the Africans by inviting them to the table, but then saying, sorry, you can't eat. You can only watch us play our games. You can watch us enjoy the 10-course meal. What a joke. What an insult. And I do hope that the African leaders are not going to accept it. Africa must be at the table as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, and the 2 seats must have veto power, plain and simple, period. Of course, they know what they're doing. So, again, that's where the disrespect comes in. They know what they're doing. They know what the right thing to do is. No, we do not want to dilute our veto power if we give 2 more seats with veto power. No, we are simply saying the slice is big enough. The world is bigger than 5 countries representing over 7 billion people. We are simply saying serious wrongs have been perpetrated against Black people. Here is an opportunity for President Biden to right this wrong. This is an opportunity that we cannot miss. Africans must be at the table. 1.4 billion people must be represented. The continued disrespect of the Africans has got to come to an end.
Now, I believe that this sentiment reflects a profound frustration felt across the continent. I mean, it's like inviting someone to a grand feast, but telling them that they can only observe while others actually enjoy the meal. I mean, how can Africa's voice truly resonate on the global stage without the ability to actually influence decisions that directly affect us? I mean, the historical context is crucial here. I mean, since its inception in 1945, the UN Security Council has actually maintained a structure that favors a select few. And we all know who those select fews are, right? And these 5 permanent members actually wield significant power, including the ability to veto resolutions. Now, the exclusion of Africa from this power structure sends a stark message, which is that our nations are still not viewed as equal players in international affairs. And currently, Africa holds only 3 non-permanent seats on the council, and that doesn't even allow our countries to deliver the full benefit of their voices. However, to be offered permanent seats without the means to actually influence significant decision actually feels more like a token gesture than a genuine step towards equality. I believe that this proposal illustrates a broader issue, one that actually highlights the enduring control in international relations. And it's as if the US is saying, oh yes, we will allow you to sit at the table, but only if you don't disrupt the status quo. Now, it's a frustrating reminder that we are still navigating the remnants of colonial attitudes where our power as Africans and our agency are continuously undermined. Many analysts argue that genuine reform at the UN must include not just representation but empowerment. It's not enough to simply have a seat. We must actually have power to effect change. The US support for a rotating seat for small island developing countries, while commendable, it cannot overshadow the need for meaningful representation for African nations. The implications of this announcement are profound. And if the US truly wishes to support Africa, then it honestly needs to reconsider its stance on veto power. Our nations also deserve the right to influence decisions that impact our people, our security, and our development. And while the US move to expand African representation is a step in the right direction, we must also demand more as Africans. We must challenge any framework that perpetuates a hierarchy among nations. As Africans, our voices are powerful and we will not remain silent. We need to constantly fight to be heard. Now, let's keep the conversation going and ensure that our collective voices are heard on the global stage. We want to hear from you though. What are your thoughts in regards to this? And while you're at it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye.